Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Migration and Border Analytical Digest. We provide a roundup of the latest news in the domain. In this episode, I'll shed light on 4 key topics: Russia's migration policy in Crimea, Germany enticing Ukrainian and Polish workers, the problem with criminalizing smuggling, and the European travel information and authorization systems postponement. Let's get started. More than 6 years have passed since Russia annexed Crimea. Despite the peninsula being internationally shunned, Russia continues to carry out its policies, migration-related ones included. Having weaponized and politicized its migration policy, back in 2014, the Russian Federation automatically turned all residents officially registered in Crimea into Russian citizens, regardless of their will. Although it provided people with a temporary opportunity to refuse the citizenship, it made the process both cumbersome and risky. Those who refused to become Russian citizens or lacked registration have been expelled from the peninsula. According to various estimates, thousands of people have been deported from Crimea. It's also replacing the local population with mainland Russian citizens. Experts from Vaccine News believe that since 2014, around 270,000 people have entered Crimea and the city of Sevastopol. Approximately 100,000 people left the peninsula. Today, 27% and 8% of people living in Sevastopol and Crimea, respectively, are external migrants. The experts also assume that Crimea is home to a substantial number of unregistered people, in part because of the EU-US sanctions ramifications. For example, a Russian citizen living in Crimea is ineligible to apply for a Schengen visa. Germany is looking to attract workforce from abroad. This year, the biggest EU economy has relaxed its work permit rules, and it seems like many Ukrainians seeking employment outside Ukraine have been well aware of the novel opportunity. Back in 2019, 2 studies showed that between 43% and 70% of Ukrainians are eyeing Germany as their next work destination. The country has already created a specialized site called makeitingermany.com, which offers jobs to nurses, engineers, researchers, and more. With the Ukrainian government failing to retain its workforce in the country, Germany might soon become one of the main destinations for Ukrainians alongside Poland, whose dependence on the Ukrainian workforce has been exemplified by the corona crisis. In early May 2020, the general director of the Crimea personal employment firm, Thomas Bogdevich, revealed that around 100 Polish companies operating in the logistics and industrial sector urgently requested the firm to find Ukrainian workers. To fulfill their needs, the company organized charter flights from Ukraine to Poland and provided quarantine premises. Meanwhile, a substantial chunk of the Poles working in the UK have left Britain following the 2016 Brexit vote. Reports have emerged that Germany has now become one of their top destinations alongside Sweden. This suggests that in the long term, Ukrainians and Poles might find themselves competing for the German jobs. More so if a no-deal Brexit takes place and anti-immigrant sentiment in the UK remains robust. Still, we're talking about a certain proportion of Ukrainian workers, as the German Skilled Immigration Act mainly targets workers with recognized degrees and basic knowledge of the language. Smuggling has been high on the EU-Ukraine agenda for a while now. The Ukrainian law criminalizes smuggling only to a certain extent, hence the repercussions for smuggling weapons, artifacts, and drugs are dire according to the Ukrainian law. The EU, however, champions a different approach. Both the EU delegation and the European Commission, in its report on the continued fulfillment of visa-free requirements, have voiced a proposal to criminalize the smuggling of all types of goods. Yet the attempts to foster a consensus on the issue has so far been in vain, not least because the relevant agencies have a hard time agreeing on key points. For example, whom do you penalize? The little guy or someone else? How to ensure that the smugglers don't find a fast workaround of the law? How to tackle the corruption in courts? Which agency should oversee the matter? The police, the custom, or a brand new one? How to pinpoint the exact amount of contraband subject to penalties? The other part of the problem is purely human-centered. Smuggling has become one of the main ways for near-border inhabitants to make a living, meaning that the resistance to the government's attempts to disrupt the patterns will be high. The European Union has postponed the launch of the European Travel Information and Authorization System, also known as ETIAS, until the end of 2022. The system aims to make the Schengen borders more integrated and safe and will be available online around the clock. All you need is to fill in information from your biometric passport and answer a dozen of standardized questions. The service will be provided at the price of €7 for the period of 3 years. Naturally, pro-Russian and anti-EU actors have been quick to spread disinformation. They claim that ETIAS effectively means the end of the visa waiver for Ukrainians. This is everything but true. To begin with, the Union's latest report states that Ukrainians, by and large, adhere to the EU visa-free travel rules. Besides, citizens of all states that don't require a visa to travel to the EU are subject to an ETIAS checkup. We're talking about the US, Canada, Mexico, and soon the UK. And that's just to name a few. So if you come across a Russia propagandized party claim that ETIAS has been introduced because the EU is fed up with clandestine network of Ukrainians, make sure to debunk it and put a smile on your face. Thank you for watching, stay in the loop, and drop a comment below to let us know what you think.